Well, this week we are going to be focusing on the Congress party. While we've been talking about the rise of, say, the Trinamool Congress, of the Aam Aadmi Party, and that rise always at the cost of the Congress party, but this time round with a big bang exit of Ghulam Nabi Azad, one needs to raise this question that is the Congress party responsible for its own implosion? Should the Congress party blame X, Y, Z, or should it actually start looking at the mirror? I'm Pallavi Ghosh, and this week my question is precisely this. Is the Congress party nearing towards its end? Well, my answer would be no, because no political party completely ends. Either it goes underground or it goes through a very bad phase and eventually they can come out of it. But why the focus is on the Congress party is because it's a national party. And despite the fact that it's not in power in most of the states in our country, and despite the fact that regional powers are becoming powerful and they are consuming the Congress party, it still remains truly the only national party apart from the BJP because of the fact that it has a national footprint in almost every state. Even if it's a weak organization, chances are that in every village or district, at least you will find Congress workers, Karyakarta, or a Congress flag fluttering over there. So to that extent, the demise of the Congress party or the fall of it certainly becomes very alarming when we talk about democracy in our country. It's very important to have a vibrant opposition, and a vibrant opposition, despite the fact that a TMC and AAP may be rejecting it, cannot actually happen without the Congress party, which is why there's double pressure on the Congress party to survive and also to perform. But everyone who's quit the Congress party of late, whether it's a Jitin Prasad or it's an RPN Singh, Jyotiraditya Scindia and Jayaveer Shergill, and of course recently Ghulam Nabi Azad, there's one common thread when they make those statements. They talk about a cabal, they talk about a coterie, they talk about a Huzoori culture. Well, to be fair, this Huzoori culture is almost there in every political party in our country, especially in the personality-driven parties. Even the BJP, I would say, the Trinamool Congress, or even the Aam Aadmi Party, which revolves around one strong personality or a central personality. Nothing new. But what happens is that if that personality is strong enough, it strengthens the party. That doesn't seem to be happening in the case of the Congress party, because the demise or the fall of the Congress party is also synonymous with the weakness of the Gandhis, particularly Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. I always hold the fact that Sonia Gandhi is one of the most successful Gandhis because not once but twice she fought against all the odds, defeated the BJP and ensured that the Congress party comes back to power at the centre twice over. There was a huge uphill task for her because she was someone who was seen as foreign born. She had a language issue. She went from door to door and to weave an alliance called the UPA Alliance. So in that sense, a great credit goes to her, and she's certainly a successful Gandhi because unlike Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, she has ensured wins. But Rahul Gandhi particularly has been very unlucky, not only losing his own seat in Amethi, which is the pocket bureau of the Gandhis, but also the fact that wherever he's gone and campaigned extensively, even in Lok Sabha where he was the face of the party, actually he's not been able to deliver. So now what happens is that when leaders like Ghulam Nabi Azad in that 5-page letter they leave and they do a scathing attack on the Congress party and more importantly on Rahul Gandhi, it certainly is very unnerving. It rattles the party Karyakartas, the cadre, and makes them wonder that is there any point in staying around? Because how long can you do so? We also saw the predictable reactions which came in from the Congress party about Congress leaders, whether it was an Ashok Gehlot, Jairam Ramesh, all insinuating that Ghulam Nabi Azad may be joining the BJP, or he got the best post, but when times are down, when chips are down, he's decided to leave the Congress party out. The same charge which was there, Jayaveer Shergill and so on and so forth. But I think the larger question which needs to be asked over here is that should the Congress party lose sight of the criticism that they are facing? Is there no mirror inside the AICC headquarters? Someone like me who's covered the Congress party for years has also sensed the fact that the Congress has lost its sync or connect, not just with the people, but also with the party Karyakartas. And how have they lost it with the party Karyakarta is that it's almost impossible to get an appointment with Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, more particularly Rahul Gandhi. I've often speak about an anecdote, and that anecdote essentially is about how Jagdambika Pal, who at that point of time was a part of the Congress party, was waiting for a long promised appointment. Finally, he got to meet Rahul Gandhi inside the parliament, Rahul told him to sit in his car, and in a short journey from Parliament to Rahul Gandhi's residence, which lasted around 7 to 8 minutes, Rahul Gandhi was constantly on his phone. He gets down and he says bye to Jagdambika Pal. So Jagdambika Pal never even got to speak to Rahul Gandhi. Whether it's Hemant Biswa Sarma with his famous Pridhi example, Jyotirajitya Scindia, all of them have spoken about inaccessibility. Which brings me to this question once again about whether the Congress party is imploding. It certainly seems to be doing so. A lot of high profile, even low profile leaders have left. All of them making the same point, the inaccessibility. How long do you hang around? The long promised presidential elections are also not taking place. Even when a date is fixed, a schedule is fixed, they don't stick to it. They cannot even make up their mind who can be the person, who can be nominated. You get stories about how Rahul Gandhi is reluctant, and then Ashok Gehlot's name crops up, and then we get a clarification saying Ashok Gehlot is not a contender and Rahul Gandhi cannot be ruled out. All these developments are happening at a time when the Congress party is trying to do something which they have always been advised to do, which is hit the streets, connect with the people. And certainly the Bharat Jodo Yatra is a very ambitious plan and something which exactly every political party should do. But how is it happening? As they say, the Bharat Jodo Yatra is good for the country, but the Congress Jodo Yatra is also required, which means you require political leaders within the Congress party to stay put. All they need, they say, is some kind of a hope that things will change. They say it's not that we want a post, some of them at least tell me that in private, or a fancy designation. But if we feel that we can win at one point of time, we will stick around. But we get a sense that it's very difficult for the Congress party to come back to power, and we are politicians. We want to be in power, and what's wrong with that? And why should we not look for political alternatives? Do give in your reactions on the social media timeline. Do you agree with me that the Congress party is imploding, or there's still hope for the party? Or whether it's Rahul Gandhi's Congress which requires a complete break from the past, even if it means that many of the older leaders need to leave the party so that a new Congress emerges as it grapples with newer political parties. Thank you so much for watching.